When my wife, Anna, first suggested we get a dog, I wasn't entirely sold on the idea. Life was already busy, we both had careers that demanded long hours, and I couldn't picture adding a golden retriever puppy to the mix. But she was so enthusiastic, her eyes practically glowing when she showed me pictures of local breeders. "It'll bring us closer," she said. "Something we can love and take care of together." I smiled, kissed her on the forehead, and agreed. 6 months later, Baxter was the center of our home and of Anna's world. She threw herself into caring for him, buying the best food, the finest leash, the most stimulating toys. At first, I found it endearing. Watching her sprawled on the floor, teaching Baxter how to shake or laughing when he'd plop down on her feet, reminded me why I loved her. But over time, something shifted. Anna became restless. Distant. Even when we were together, her phone buzzed constantly, and her responses were a little too quick, too eager. I chalked it up to work at first, but my gut whispered otherwise. The tipping point came when Anna enrolled Baxter in obedience classes at a local training center. She insisted it would be good for him, he needs more structure, more socialization. I didn't argue. What harm could come from it? Enter Dean. Dean was the head trainer. Tall, lean, with that easy, rugged confidence that somehow always seems to catch women's eyes. Anna described him to me that first week in casual terms, "He really knows dogs," she'd said. But I could tell. There was an extra lilt to her voice when she mentioned his name, a soft pink flush that crept up her cheeks. I should have paid more attention. In the weeks that followed, Anna seemed invigorated in a way she hadn't been for months. Suddenly she was rearranging her schedule to make all the training sessions. "Private lessons are better," she explained. "Less distraction for Baxter." At first, I believed her. But when she started dressing up for these sessions, makeup done, perfume applied, a new pair of jeans I hadn't seen before, my doubts grew louder. I voiced my concerns once, hesitantly. "Do you think you're spending a bit too much time at the training center?" She laughed it off, brushing her fingers along my arm. "Don't be silly, honey. It's just for Baxter." But one night, when she returned unusually late and flustered, her blouse slightly rumpled and her hair no longer neatly tucked, I knew something wasn't right. I didn't confront her then. Instead, I started paying closer attention. That's how I noticed the texts. One evening while Anna was in the shower, her phone buzzed on the nightstand. I shouldn't have looked, I know, but curiosity and dread clouded me. The message preview read: "Loved today. Can't wait for tomorrow. Paw prints red heart." My stomach twisted. The sender? Dean. I scrolled further, hands shaking. Flirtatious exchanges. Mentions of alone time after Baxter's sessions. References to meeting at the back room of the training center. My heart thundered in my chest, drowning out all other sounds. I couldn't read anymore. That night, I barely slept. Lying next to Anna, her breath soft and steady, felt surreal. How long had this been going on? Had it started innocently and spiraled, or had there always been this undercurrent between them? In the following days, I struggled with what to do. I became withdrawn, quiet. Anna noticed. "Is everything okay?" she asked one morning, her brow creased with concern. I forced a smile. "Just work stress." But I was watching. And waiting. The final confirmation came 2 weeks later, on a day I'd called in sick. Anna thought I was at the office. Around 11 a.m., she left the house, gym bag slung over her shoulder, telling me she was taking Baxter to a private session. I waited 10 minutes, then followed. At the training center, I parked a block away and approached on foot. The main room was empty, but through the partially open door at the back, I heard laughter, hers. My heart pounded as I crept closer. And there they were. Dean's arms circled her waist as she leaned into him, her head thrown back in laughter. No dog in sight. No training happening. Just the two of them, wrapped in an embrace that shattered any remaining doubts. I left before they saw me. Somehow, I drove home on autopilot, the image of them burned into my mind. I sat in the darkened living room for hours, Baxter curled at my feet, oblivious to the storm raging inside me. How had it come to this? And more pressingly, what was I going to do about it? I don't know how long I sat in that chair after seeing them, numb, as if my own life had become a movie I was helpless to stop. When Anna came home that afternoon, she was all sunshine and small talk. Session went great. Dean thinks Baxter's almost ready for the next level. She ruffled Baxter's ears as if nothing had changed. But everything had changed. I couldn't meet her gaze. I was terrified that if I opened my mouth, the flood would come rushing out. So I retreated further into myself, watching, collecting more evidence, trying to decide how to confront the person I had loved more than anyone. Days turned to a week. Then 2. Anna grew more relaxed, even affectionate, perhaps mistaking my silence for ignorance. But in my mind, every smile, every touch felt false now, layered with betrayal. I hired a private investigator. I needed proof, something undeniable, because deep down, a part of me still hoped I was wrong, that I'd misunderstood. But the pictures he provided crushed that last flicker of hope. There they were, Anna and Dean, leaving a small cafe hand in hand, laughing in a way she hadn't laughed with me in months. Another shot, their cars parked side by side at the training center late at night long after official hours. And then the one that broke me, through a window, blurry but unmistakable, Dean lifting Anna onto a table, her legs around his waist. When the investigator handed me the folder, I couldn't breathe. I drove home in a daze, barely noticing the world passing by. That night, after dinner, I finally spoke. Anna, I said quietly, setting the folder on the table. We need to talk. She looked up from her phone, puzzled. About what? I opened the folder, pushed it toward her. Her face drained of color as she flipped through the photos. Where did you get these? I know everything, I said, my voice shaking. The texts. The meetings. The lies. Silence hung between us like a thick fog. Anna's eyes welled with tears, but I saw no guilt, just fear of being caught. It wasn't supposed to happen, she whispered. Dean, he understands me in ways you never did. A bitter laugh escaped me. He understands you? Anna, you told me getting a dog would bring us closer. Instead, you let it drive a wedge between us, one you walked through willingly. Tears streamed down her face now. You don't know what it's been like. You've been so distant. No, I cut her off. I've been here, every single day. You're the one who checked out. She crumpled into sobs, burying her face in her hands. Part of me wanted to comfort her, the old reflex of love, but I couldn't move. Something inside me had shattered too cleanly. I can't do this anymore, I said softly. I deserve better than secrets and half-truths. Please, she choked out. Don't leave me. It was a mistake, I was confused. I shook my head. You weren't confused when you went back. Again and again. That night, I slept in the guest room. The next morning, I packed a bag and left for my brother's house. Anna called, texted, pleaded. Promises of ending it, of fixing things. But some things aren't so easily mended. I filed for separation the following week. In the months that followed, the house felt emptier, quieter. Baxter stayed with me, perhaps the only innocent party in the whole mess. Some nights, he'd lay his head on my lap, sensing my sadness, offering silent comfort. Healing wasn't linear. There were days I felt strong, liberated. Other days, the grief would hit me out of nowhere, a song on the radio, a glimpse of a couple walking their dog. I often wondered when it had all started to slip away. Had I missed the signs? Could I have fought harder? But over time, the questions lost their power. The past was unchangeable. The only thing left was to move forward. 6 months later, standing in a sunlit park with Baxter chasing a frisbee, I realized something. I was still standing. Broken, perhaps, but not defeated. And in that moment, watching my dog bound toward me with unbridled joy, I felt a spark of hope. Life, with all its messiness and pain, still had room for new beginnings.